Hey everyone, I hope y'all are having a great day, and today I'll be reviewing The Way You Make Me Feel by Maurene Goo. I read Maurene Goo's previous novel, I Believe in a Thing Called Love, a little less than a year ago. I have a review up for it, so I'll link it down below, but long story short, I adored that book. I thought it was so cute, so sweet, so funny, and I loved following a Korean-American protagonist. So when the chance came up to review Maurene Goo's new book, I jumped at the chance. The Way You Make Me Feel is about a 16-year-old girl named Clara who, upon pulling a prank that went awry at the end of the school year, is forced to work at her dad's food truck for the rest of the summer. Her dad's food truck is called the Cobra because it's Korean Brazilian fusion food. But the painful thing about this punishment is not the actual work itself, but who she has to work with. So the other person that was unfortunately involved in this prank is basically the person she loves to torment at school. Her name is Rose Carver. And Rose is essentially everything that Clara dislikes. Rose is a little uppity, takes everything too seriously, cares about everything, whereas Clara cares about virtually nothing. So as the summer goes on, Clara has to learn how to cooperate with Rose. She also learns a lot more about her parents, who are both Korean Brazilian and they're separated. And Clara reflects on whether she likes the person that she's been and what kind of person is it that she would like to be. I'll admit, it took me a good while to get into The Way You Make Me Feel. It never reached the same level of charm or endearment for me that I felt when I read I Believe in a Thing Called Love, which was disappointing because I was really highly anticipating this book. However, by the time I got to the end of the book and I was able to reflect on the story as a whole, I could understand that there are a lot of really good things going on in these pages, even if I did feel like it could have been a stronger work had it been written or edited differently. One thing Maurene Goo translates well from her previous work into this one is her development of father-daughter relationships. So Desi's relationship with her dad was a big part of I Believe in a Thing Called Love, and Clara's relationship with her father is an even larger part of The Way You Make Me Feel. The spotlight Maurene Goo puts on families, family relationships, family dynamics, especially families that have immigrant backgrounds, is something that I will always admire. Something that I also really admire about Maurene Goo as an author is her intentionality when it comes to the diversity of her characters. In this book, we have non-hetero characters. We have characters who are white, who are black, Korean American, Korean Brazilian, Chinese American, Filipino American, Latino. Like, the story is set in LA, which is a very diverse city, and Maurene Goo, I think, reflects that diversity really well in her cast of characters. But I think the cast of characters is also partially my biggest issue with this book. So my biggest issue, I think, that I had when I was reading this was essentially every other character was better than our main character. Like, even if the main character isn't the most likable, you should still be wanting to follow their story and you should still be rooting for them in a sense. It was really difficult for me to want to root for Clara when there were so many other better characters around her, including Adrian, Clara's father, or Rose, Clara's enemy, or Hamlet, Clara's love interest. Clara's disengagement and nonchalant attitude was just really irritating for me because I'm definitely more of a Rose than I am of a Clara. Like, I am that person that takes things really seriously. I am that person that has a lot of ambition and dreams of huge achievements. And I am that person that loves to organize things and plan things out and gets irritated if someone comes in and messes up those plans. And the fact that Clara starts off so small-minded was really frustrating when clearly there were better and more interesting characters around her. But because she does start off at such a low point at the beginning of the novel, she does have so much room to grow by the end, and the product of that growth really is pretty beautiful. She learns a lot about her relationship with her parents and her parents' relationship to each other, and that really shapes both her recognition and expression of gratitude. And what was really interesting about this is that that's still a realization that I think I learn and people around me learn, is just how much your parents do for you to make you feel like everything was effortless or that you didn't have to lift a finger. Like, there is so much that goes behind the scenes that we just take for granted when we're children, and Clara begins to learn that by the end of this novel, so I really enjoyed reading about that. Our love interest is a boy named Hamlet, who is Chinese American. He was born in China, moved to America, and his parents still actually live in China, but he lives with family friends in California. And Hamlet was such a sweet boy. He was so endearing, so polite, so optimistic. I honestly at first could not understand what Hamlet saw in Clara, because Clara is basically the opposite of all those words, but as the relationship develops, you do kind of see how their personalities balance each other out. Their first date is particularly interesting because it's full of ups and downs, and it showcases different sides of each character's personalities and how those different personalities could potentially be disastrous but could also really work under the right circumstances. It's during this first date that Clara also reveals that she doesn't like Imagine Dragons, and because Imagine Dragons is my favorite band, I was like, Clara, this is another strike against you. But moving on, overall the romance, although pretty sudden and insta-lovey, I thought did a great job of depicting realistic and healthy aspects of a young relationship. Although personally I wasn't super invested in this story, and although I never fell in love with it like I did with I Believe in a Thing Called Love, when I isolate all the elements that Maurene Goo purposefully wove into this book, I can appreciate it a lot. The intentionality is there, and so is the author's care, even if I did feel like the themes could have been executed better. I do think The Way You Make Me Feel tried to take on a lot, and consequently the plot sometimes feels scattered, but I just really have to give credit to Maurene Goo for her ambition and her representation. Maurene Goo's books have the content of Morgan Matson and Jenny Han's books, but they're written in the style of like Kristen Walker or Miranda Alley. And what I mean by that is that the themes can be serious, but they're written in such a way that they're so light and they're so fluffy. And so her reads end up being really breezy. So even though this book is technically 368 pages, and by the way, it comes out on May 8th. I never said that. Maybe by the time I edit and post this, it will have already come out. But regardless, it's 368 pages, which is like a considerable number of pages, but you could probably read this in a day. I will continue to anticipate Maurene Goo's books, even if this one didn't particularly hit the spot for me, because I love what she does. I love that she writes the stories of unrepresented populations, and she does so in a way that's accessible and fun. If you've read The Way You Make Me Feel, please let me know your thoughts on it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you all have a fantastic day and happy reading. Bye. Okay, I'm gonna try to copy this image. Oh wait, her hair is like, does that look okay? I don't know. Am I doing it? Am I doing it? Am I doing it? Am I doing it? Yeah, I can't do this. I could never be a book model.